So do you have any, do you hold any degrees in the scientific discipline of mathematics?
I do not.
Do you hold any degrees in the scientific discipline of physics?
I do not.
Hold any degrees in the scientific discipline of biomechanics?
No.
How about in engineering?
No.
How about in kinematics?
No.
What's the highest degree that you do hold, sir?
I have an associate's degree.
In what?
What? Okay. So our expert witness has an associate's degree, a 2-year degree. Not exactly the most promising start. But you are an expert witness, apparently, in accident reconstruction, and you have no higher education really to speak of except community college. Great. We're off to a really, really auspicious start over here. That's fantastic news.
Define kinematics, George.
It deals with the aspect of motion.
It's a subfield of what broader field?
Kinematics.
Kinematics is a subfield of what broader discipline of science?
I'm not sure.
Physics, correct?
Yes.
I don't know what kinematics is a sub-discipline of, but I'm an expert witness. Your expertise runs deep.
What's that called? The rate of velocity. What's another word for that?
Acceleration.
The rate of velocity?
Right.
Yes, acceleration.
I mean, it deals with
it's called acceleration.
motion. It deals with forward and also deals with speed. It deals with travel and speed.
Acceleration.
If something's moving, it also has a speed to it.
God damn it.
What you're looking for is acceleration, correct?
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. It's called acceleration. Holy shit. Woo!
What's the difference between constrained and unconstrained motion?
Constrained and unconstrained motion.
That's what I asked.
Constrained motion. I can't recollect at the moment.
Constrained
You can't recall what constrained motion is versus unconstrained motion. You can't even take a guess at what the difference between constrained motion and unconstrained motion is. I feel like it's kind of on the label. You know, it's right there. It's right there. One is constrained, one is unconstrained. You can't even take a guess at what it means just from the terms. Exciting news. Christ. Yes, here's some made up information that we came up with because we didn't record the placement of anything.
So you see diagram 3 on the board.
How this diagram is being allowed into evidence is beyond me, because none of this information was recorded by the people who, collected it. So how this diagram is being offered is beyond me at this point. It's a work of fiction.
Based on that, does that change your opinion? Is that now, the fire hydrant now, the point of impact?
No.
Where's the point of impact now?
It's along the roadway. I don't know the exact point of impact.
So you don't know the area of impact?
I said the area of impact is along the roadway after the debrief.
Okay.
I mean, only thing it would change is maybe it's a little further away. But besides that, it's a linear field. I'm not talking about like one point. You kind of follow the middle of the debris field, and that should be the path.
Well,
he's reasoning by scatter plot. That's fun. Yeah, well, first of all, that would require you to know where the pieces are to even be able to do that in the first place, right? So if you knew exactly where the pieces were, then you could try to draw a line that averages them out, as you might do in a scatter plot, and be like, well, this is essentially the average. But first of all, that's a very weird thing to do, kind of. And second of all, it would require you to know exactly where the pieces are in order to be able to draw the line. If you don't know where the pieces are, you can't draw the average line in the scatter plot. And he doesn't know exactly where they were because they weren't documented. So first of all, I'm not sure scatter plot is the way to go. Second of all, even if it was, He doesn't know where the pieces are in order to draw the scatter plot. So how can he say what's linear or not? Because how can he draw the line if he doesn't know where the pieces are? Okay, that's fine. Sure, no problem.
All right, so if you use that scale, can you estimate for the jurors? I'm just going to use this X as a starting point. You estimate for the jurors from this X that I've highlighted to the pedestrian's final rest. What's that number? It doesn't have to be exact. Give me an estimate.
So, I mean, it could be within 30 feet because I tell you this also on my scale, this 2 and 3 is 50 feet. From
This X down here to pedestrian's final rest. That's profilized. That's probably a good 35, 40 feet.
I mean, I could try to use the scale, but it's me as a scale.
If you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, why not actually break out the scale? It
Yes,
tells
please.
you exactly what it is. That'd be good. It's right there on the thing to be used. That's what it's there for.
Okay.
Well, you measure how many inches it is and multiply by 10. That'd be great. How many inches? Times 10. That's the number of feet. That's the scale.
You need a pen?
I
Yeah.
got one, thank you.
All you have to do is measure the number of inches, guy. It's right there on the thing. I read it myself. You just have to get a ruler and measure the number of inches. That's all you have to do. It's really easy. It's right there.
It's a little around, it's approximately 30 feet.
We're approximately 30 feet.
Yes.
Okay. So your expert testimony is that John O'Keefe was hit with the SUV and flew 30 feet.
Projected, I mean, like I don't say he flew all the way there. He was projected in that way. He got pushed forward in that direction.
Which he was rendered incapacitated, landed there, that's sort of fly there, right? Didn't walk there.
I mean, would you definitely flying like literally off the ground the whole entire time? Or,
Well, you tell me, you're the expert.
I mean, he got, when we say projected, we mean he gets projected and they usually have a landing phase and they land and then they either roll or tumble to final rest.
Okay, how far do you think he landed? How far was it until he landed of that 30 feet?
I don't know. There's no indication of where his exact landing spot was.
Right. Was there any evidence whatsoever that he landed and rolled?
And there was no evidence that he landed or rolled. Or no, rolled.
According to you, the evidence that you have in front of you is that you get hit, fly 30 feet,
Yeah.
land where he ended up in his final rest, right?
Objection.
Sustained. Ask.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's no indication that the body rolled like down a hill. And the theory of the state is that he was incapacitated from the hits. So he can't have walked, right? Or they don't say, look, he was essentially incapacitated, but he had a couple moments there before he succumbed to his injury and, was able to walk a little bit. And so he walked 10 feet and that's where he collapsed. No, that's not the theory of the state. The theory of the state is he was incapacitated from the moment of impact. That is their theory. That is their theory. Okay. So let's go with that. So that means that the distance between where the car hit him and where the body landed, because there's no evidence of rolling, right? Every inch of that must be due solely to the car because it can't be due to anything else. It's not due to him walking. It's not due to him, moving. It's not due to him rolling. It's all due to the car. So he moved 30 feet from this collision at 25 miles an hour. That doesn't seem very realistic. That doesn't seem very realistic that a pedestrian being hit by a car at 25 miles an hour would be moved 30 feet via the impact of the car. That does not seem like a plausible thing to me. But what do I know? I don't have an associate's degree in kinematics like this guy. So maybe he knows more than me. I don't know, man. I'm having doubts.
Based on your expert opinion, you believe that he was projected through the air to his final rest place.
That's not what I'm saying.
But you said there's no evidence that he rolled.
And there's no evidence that he flew through the air either.
Well, no, that would be like that doesn't quite work. because there's only so many possibilities here. And really, fundamentally, there's only kind of two possibilities, really. Either like he moved from the car to where he is without touching the ground, right? So that he was projected without touching the ground at all, in which case flew seems like a reasonable description of that. Or he was touching the ground at some point, even if he didn't roll, right? He was essentially scraping the ground from his rag doll-like body at some point. So he's touching the ground. So either sort of he flew, or there would be evidence on the ground from the scraping, from the friction, from his body having an impact point somewhere on the ground, but there's no impact point anywhere on the ground. None was seen. So this is a, if you exclude all the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth kind of thing, right? If there's no evidence that he scraped the ground, if there's no evidence of any contact with the ground, then the conclusion must be he flew. Because there's not a lot of possibilities, man. It's got to be one of the two.
You said on Friday that in your experience, people tend to lose objects that are not strapped to them. Is that right?
Yes.
In other words, get hit by something, car, truck, bus, whatever, train, and if you have something in your hand, boom, you lose it, you drop it. If it's not strapped to you, correct?
Correct.
How do you suppose that Mr. O'Keefe, in your opinion, held on to that glass cup that was found right next to him over the course of 30 feet being projected?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Do you have a theory on that?
I don't know. I mean, it just could have been with him the whole way. I don't know. I wasn't there, so I don't know how the glass stayed with his body and went with him to the final rest.
How about his cell phone?
Cell phone? Yeah. It all depends. Depends on where it is.
It was under his body.
Okay.
How do you account for that? He held onto his cell phone with one hand and held onto the cup with the other.
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
If the cell phone was found under his torso, under his body, what's your theory on how that cell phone ended up flying 30 feet with him?
It just did.
Just did.
It just did is definitely the answer you want from your accident reconstructionist. What is your theory for how the cell phone landed under his body? It just did. That's fantastic. That's really good news. That's really good news. It just happened. Don't question it. I'm the expert, man. How am I supposed to know? Lol.